I am a mystic in a modern world, and for a long time I wasn't even aware of it. This video is about what it means to live this way, the traits, the struggles, and the gifts. It's deep winter here in Austria. I love this time of the year. There is something about the snow and the winter sun, which is deeply mystic. It goes in resonance with my inner being. It took me years to understand that I'm wired for mysticism. It's a natural gift. And with the years, I found that it often correlates with traits like being introverted, being intuitive, being highly sensitive, and with certain personality patterns like Enneagram Type 9. Today I show you the mountains here at the eastern side of the Alps. And I will talk about how it is being a mystic in our modern world. I love this time of the year with its dry, fresh air and the trees all in white. The raw forces of the elements taking over. Life being more quiet. Winter, ice and snow is symbolized by Rune Isa. The rune of all the hermits and contemplative souls. I will talk about this rune at the end of this video. When nature sleeps, when it's cold, we appreciate the sun even more. And some of us are more aware of their inner light, their mystic nature. It's important to talk about how it's like to be a mystic, because our everyday language is poor in describing spiritual states. Often we don't have common literal words for those experiences, or we don't allow ourselves to identify as mystics, witches, priests. Our society is cut off from soul space in so many ways. I believe mysticism is a natural trait. I have it, And chances are you have it too. Let me tell you about my life story. I have a master's degree in economics and business administration, and in my 20s, I tried to be successful in one of those corporate jobs in public relation marketing. I had this cool, sparkly image of those kind of jobs, but very quickly I found that this kind of jobs, this kind of lifestyle doesn't align with my being. It doesn't align with my soul. It doesn't align with me. I was tired all the time. I was unhappy. I felt this unhappiness in my body. Everything was heavy and sad and stressful for me. So in my mid-20s, I had a quarter life crisis, and I already talked about this several times on my channel. I realized that I have to live another type of life. Our society values extraversion. Our society values being active, being out there in the world, talking much, being communicative, analyzing, talking, being in your headspace, being heavily in contact with other people. All of this has its value. It's good to be efficient, it's good to be productive, it's good to talk with many people, it's good to be communicative. But when you're too much focused on doing, looking outside, acting according to your social role, then you will miss something. What you miss is the connection to your soul space, the connection to the transcendent, the connection to something meaningful. Life becomes shallow. Conversations become shallow. We see this in our society. They don't have contact to this rich, juicy life. This is one thing, spirituality, being spiritual. It's not something, oh, I'm like flying somewhere, I'm spiritual, and I'm like this. No. When you're connected with your soul space and the transcendent and meaning, your life will become richer, it will become more juicy, it will become more grounded, it will be connected with earth, but also with the sky. You will be like this tree of life, standing on your ground and at the same time being connected with heaven. I didn't have one person in my whole environment which could be a role model for me. I didn't have role models for living a spiritual life. And I had to find my path all by myself without even having words for it. I didn't even have words for it. I didn't tell myself, oh, you have to live a spiritual life now. Maybe you are a mystic. No, I didn't know that. I couldn't talk about it. It was how it was. I found my path step by step, like being blind, without words. I found my path to living a spiritual life. So what I realized is I needed time, I needed more time to look inside. I needed more time to be in contact with soul space. I need more time for dreaming. I need more time which just flows. I need more unstructured time in my life. I don't even need a spiritual practice which I do every day for hours and hours. When I have this time, once I have this time, my soul takes over and does it. It happens. I am connected, focused on my North Star. It happens automatically, sinking into soul depths, and then I live through this inner connection. And that's it. What I've found is that there are people who are more or less gifted for being a mystic and for being contemplative. One trait is being introverted. Why? Because mysticism, it's all about looking inside. Even if my eyes are open, I look inside now and not outside like now, yeah? Looking inside and being in contact with soul space, your inner world, and the transcendent. This is connected with introversion. And I believe, especially with introverted intuition and introverted sensing. Carl Gustav Jung, he was the one who described those traits. It's how you are wired, by the way. It's not something you achieve, and you can become better, of course, but it's how you are wired. You are born with it. Yeah, you are born with naturally being more extroverted or being more introverted. You can see this in children, small children already. Introverted sensing or introverted intuition is heavily connected with mysticism. I am an introverted intuitive. In the MBTI system, it's INFJ, and in socionics, it's INFP. The second thing which is connected with mysticism is being sensitive, being highly sensitive. For me, this shows in the following way. Everything is right there, falling into my soul space. And in my soul space, a world opens up. There is no filter, there are not many filters. It falls right into my soul space, and then it gets in contact with my inner world, and I receive visions around those impressions. Very often it's visual, but it can also be a feeling, it can also be an impulse, it can be a gut feeling, it can be my inner voice, things like this. This is how my sensitivity shows. Everything is right there. And I need more time and energy than the average person to process things. I just need this time. Otherwise, my energy drops and my system shuts down. I will talk about this later. Another thing is your enneagram type. I am enneagram type 9, which is connected with introversion and which is also connected with mysticism. Enneagram type 9, it's a body type. So I experience the spirit world very spatial with my body and also visually, but non-verbal most of the time. Talking about it like I do now takes a lot of training for me. I am 48 now, and I couldn't talk about those things in my own language until I was around 40. Couldn't talk about it. It was all non-verbal inside myself. It was a mystical experience. And this is what mystical experiences usually are. They are difficult to describe. You can describe them in metaphors, you can describe them with art, more easily, but describing them precisely in precise words, analyzing them, this is very, very difficult. Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be a mystical experience. It would be a thought. It would be analysis. Now let me talk about my struggles and the difficult things connected with being an introverted intuitive, being a mystic, being contemplative, and being highly sensitive. I need social detox very often. And I also need extraversion detox very often. And it's not necessarily the same thing, because extraversion, it doesn't only apply on social settings. It can be also tasks being focused on efficiency, being focused on organizing, all those things can be also extroverted. It's usually extroverted thinking and extroverted sensing you need for those type of things, for organizing, being efficient, being productive, checking this, doing this, organizing this, tuck, tuck, tuck. When I do this too much, my system shuts down. But it also shuts down in social situations when I have to communicate too much, when I am with people too much, when I am in social situations too much, when I have to do small talk too much. My system, at some point, when I'm not careful and self-aware, my system shuts down. How does this look like? I get exhausted and I get tired. That's the first thing. I feel it in my body. I just get tired and I cannot function anymore. I have problems with talking, communicating, and finding words. If I am stuck in a situation, talking with people or in this organizing mode for too long or too heavily, I can get problems with finding words. And it's the easiest words I cannot remember. For example, when I was on vacation with my partner, there was one day we had to drive a lot. We had to find hotels. We talked with many people and we had to organize the flight and packing and this and that and this and that and getting orientation on Google Maps and so on and so on. At some point, I couldn't remember the word for steering wheel. Like in the car, where you drive the car, the steering wheel, Lenkrad in German. I couldn't remember the word Lenkrad. I couldn't remember it. I was like, everything was shut down. I was like, okay, now I can only sit and close my eyes. I can only sit and have a coffee and stare into the void. This is what happens. Also, when I have a social hangover, when I'm at a seminar and I have to socialize too much, and I want to socialize because I want to be in contact with people and I want to talk about interesting things and I want to be expressive and I want to express myself in the world. I'm not shy. I want to do this. But when I do it too much, I lose my self-regulation. I lose my emotional regulation and I cannot stay within a social role anymore. So I become like a primitive person, a bit like yeah, I cannot be polite and friendly anymore and have this, this polite mask and this talking and okay, listening. I cannot look people in the eyes anymore. Like when I have this social hangover and this shutdown, I automatically stare into the void. Yeah, I look inside automatically. And then I realized that people, they look at me, oh, what's up with her? She's not in contact anymore. I cannot be in contact anymore at this point. It's impossible. My system has shut down. And I also might get bitchy, anger bubbles up, I feel like crying. I cannot function socially fluid anymore. Yeah, it's over. And then I have to rest. I have to give myself time to rest, to be with myself or with my partner. And by the way, this social hangover, it most of the time it doesn't apply for being with my partner, and it doesn't apply for quality time with a close friend. Because in those type of relationships, I can be more natural. I can look inside more while being with this person, which I cannot do with strangers or people who don't know me very well or in a professional setting. I have to be attentive. I have to be quick in reacting to other people. And this costs a lot of energy for me because it doesn't come natural. I have to force myself to look people in the eyes, to be attentive, yeah, and not to, okay, my natural way of interacting would be very often like this. Yeah, okay. Ah, yeah. It would be much more looking inside while being in contact. But in our society, this is viewed as being rude or weird. And I know this and I realize this, and I want to have harmony with other people. Therefore, it's difficult for me to be in those social interactions. How to live a mystic life, how to live a contemplative life in our society, in our world. For me, the most important thing is to have enough time, to be the master of my time, to have power over my time, because then I can have enough time for being with myself and for looking inside. My soul takes over and I am connected with my inner space, with the spirit world, with inner depth, with soul space automatically. This for me is already one facet of being a mystic. Of course, there are also other types of mystical states. There are different types of trance states you can get into. There are light trance states, deep trance states, and so on. But the usual everyday contemplative mindset I am in is just this, okay, I'm connected with my inner space, with soul space. I look inside and things flow. I am in a flow state, an inner flow state. I am in this state while I work creatively. I am in this state while I wash the dishes. I am in this state when I'm cooking. It's all about how I structure my days. I cannot be around people the whole day. I cannot be in an office the whole day. I cannot be efficient doing the whole day. So for me, my most important step was becoming self-employed. and working with my partner and being able to structure my day freely. Another thing which is very important for me and which helps me is being out there in nature. Being in nature is one of the most important things for me. Hiking, skiing, walking through the forest, being in contact with my body and being in contact with nature, with the elements and the spirits of nature. When I walk through the forest, this gives me so much energy. And of course, working creatively. This is very, very important to have a job or to have at least a hobby which connects me with my creativity. And this can be writing, this can be creating videos, this can be drawing. And when I am creative, I get into this flow state, I am also in a mystical flow. Now I come to the end of this video, and at the end of my videos I usually talk about the symbols of this video. Those are the symbols for this video. Yeah, this is the tarot card, the Hermit, and this is Rune Isa. Like this Hermit, I need much time to be by myself and to dive into this inner world and be in contact with the inner light. And by the way, also the shadows, the three-headed hellhound. This is part of the shadow world. So you are not always in contact with light only, it's shadow and light. And about this card I already talked in another video. Just go to the end of the video to the chapter where I talk about the symbol of this video. In this other video I talk more about the Hermit. The main symbol of this video is Rune Isa. It's very interesting because Rune Isa, she stands for winter, for ice and snow. And she also stands for stillness, being quiet, just focus on what is. It's the rune for silence. It's the rune for retreat, being focused and connecting with your center, being centered. You see, this rune, yeah, this rune, it's like, okay, you're standing still and you're centered. Then you can focus on your inner North Star. Yeah, you can focus on the things which are of importance, which are of meaning. It's like a compass to your soul. And some people find this rune difficult or they don't like it because it also means to be passive, it means to stand still, nothing happens. Yeah, this is necessary for being a mystic, for being contemplative, and for leading a spiritual life. When it's quiet, the water becomes still. And then you can look into depths because the water is still. It's not like this, there are not waves. You can listen to your inner voice. You can receive visions. You can live a mystical, contemplative life. Thank you for listening.